Every time there's an election, I hear the exact same concerns, that people are getting lawn signs put on their lawns without them requesting them from the Conservative Party. And listen, I'm sure that the other parties do this in other ridings, but this is just where I live and what I've heard. But now that I have this platform, I have heard this from people from all over Canada, so let me tell you what happens and what tends to go wrong. The Conservatives like having their lawn signs up the day that an election is called. It's a pretty good strategy. They want to have a strong showing of force, and they tend to base that off of the previous election. So if you, somebody else in your house, or the previous owner of your house, supported the Conservatives in a previous election, they will assume you're doing the same again and put down a lawn sign. They're not supposed to do this, but it does tend to happen sometimes. That's not what concerns me. What concerns me is what happens in some diaspora communities. And I am saying this as somebody who is Italian and saw this happen to old Italian people in Vaughan. This is something that happens. Political parties will tell people that they cannot remove the sign, or volunteers from those parties. Now, once again, I am sure this happens with all the parties, but my only experience has been with the Conservatives doing this. They will tell old immigrants who don't really have a grasp of the English language that they can't remove the sign. And I have heard people tell me firsthand that their grandparents or their parents who don't speak English from diaspora communities from Europe and from India and from Asia have been told that it is illegal to remove the lawn signs. And I have personally had people tell me that they were told this. Now, I mainly heard this back in the 2015 election when I was in Vaughan, but it is something that I have been getting DMs about in this election. It is something that is still happening. At the end of the day, somebody putting down a lawn sign on somebody else's lawn is not going to change the outcome of an election. But we need to be mindful that the volunteers for political parties tend to be the most energized and excitable of the people who vote and support a party. And listen, I've had friends who volunteered for political parties and they bragged about destroying lawn signs for other political parties in the past. And I've been like, yeah, that's not okay. And I actually made those people go and apologize to the party. And a lot of the times those volunteers end up getting removed from volunteering for those parties and those ridings. Politics is not a game, but when we treat it like one, we get bad outcomes. And we don't treat people with respect. We don't treat their property with respect. And I'm sure this video is going to fall on deaf ears and the right people aren't going to hear this, but can we just try to start respecting people just a little bit? Thanks.